All right, so what we got here, Brayton's helping me out today, and he's going to show us quickly how to use some of the different microphones we have in the room and what you might use them for.
So we've got basically two kinds of microphones. We have the lavalier mics, typically used for interviews. You clip it onto a shirt or somewhere where you need like directional audio, just for an interview or for a single source. And then we have shotgun mics, two different kinds. We have more of these than these, but they both work the same. They are good for B-roll or very quick interviews where you don't have time to set up a lavalier mic. But the idea with these is that they capture audio in a very directional like pattern. So if you set up the camera and you point it at somebody, this will pick up their voice. But you also have to keep in mind that it's going to pick up other stuff too. It'll pick up a little bit behind the camera, but mostly if like they have something in the background of them, like a fan or anything that makes noise, it's going to pick that up as well. So if you're using this, you have to make sure that you're not going to have a bunch of background noise in there too, but it's really useful for that type of thing.
So the cameras have their own microphones, and these things pick up like audio all over like this.
Right.
And this, the shotgun mic, does a much better job of concentrating it this way, but it's still going to pick up some other things. And so what you're saying then is some of these lavalier mics and these other things that clip on, and this is obviously not the right end. This is what plugs into the camera. But the other end of this thing just picks up right where the person's talking or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So on the shotgun mic, there's two settings. I usually, just as a rule of thumb, go to the first click. The second one is what's called like a high pass filter, and that will filter out any like really low noise. It's for noise cancellation and things, but sometimes it ends up actually screwing up the person's voice because it's only getting, you know, the high points of that. So first click, sometimes you'll notice it'll come up with a red light instead of a green. So if you see a red light before you go out shooting, swap that battery. Always check these.
So the batteries here on these, this just slides down, and they're the 9-volt batteries here on the top, and batteries on this one right here are on the very bottom. The batteries on these microphones are in the back. And here we got these little circle batteries that unscrew, and you would find right here. So they are in there. Okay?
So onto the lav mics, one of the things with them is they, unlike these, they don't have an indicator light to say that they're on. So you always have to check this before when you check equipment out, plug it in the camera, do a test record, and then again before you do the interview, always check it, make sure it's on, make sure that once you put them on it, before you hit record, make sure they haven't like fiddled with it or you forgot to hit the on switch. Just, it happens. Things turn off.
So that's one of these key things too, is make sure that you're using the microphones and turning them on and testing it out. Make sure to test it out before you actually leave the room, so you don't have to mess with batteries later, because we have some in the room. But then the other is when you get done with it, make sure to turn it off so somebody doesn't come after you and have problems with that as well. So, right, make sure we just turn those off when we get done.
So on the camera, on the left side here, there's a couple little flaps. One of them says mic. All you need to do is pop that open, and the bottom port there fits both mics. They both have the same plug, and you just pop that in there. And then with shotgun mics, there's what's called a hot shoe mount. So you kind of unscrew this, and then you slide it forward. So from the back forward, and then you can tighten that down, and that'll keep that locked onto the camera, and then you can just kind of shoot like this. So that's with that. And then with the lav mics, same deal, except you just kind of let this plug in and then you run it to whoever you're interviewing. Last thing, both shotgun mics, but this one has a couple different switches. So on the side of this, there's also like double click switch. First click is normal, second click is high pass. It's kind of like a common theme. And then there's a little volume switch. I always kind of leave it on the negative sign, which is just like standard, you don't need not any boost. So just leave it at negative and you should be fine. That's kind on that. Also has a mount, slide it onto the camera, plug it in, good to go.
I think my only questions, so these things, the wireless lav mics, if they are available, you just need to make sure that there is a base that clips on to the camera and you, and then the other one clips on to the person. You need to make sure they're on the same channel on the top, right? So they get the same frequency, and again, they just have an on button for battery signal on both. And again, always just a good idea to test each of these before you go out and do those things. And then I think my other thing is, these are kind of a tangled mess. For the purpose of this video, we're not going to untangle it right now, but the whole idea is that we get these untangled. They look good. They stretch out about 6 feet. They're pretty long. When you get done with it, just be careful with it. Don't throw it around, and wrap it back up so it's easy for someone else to get it the next time. Just kind of throwing it into a jumbled mess probably won't be good. Probably should do a little video on just how to wrap these things up. So we probably will do one of those as well. And I think that's about it. Again, make sure they're plugged into the side of the camera. These are more for B-roll or for maybe an interview where you don't have a bunch of audio stuff happening all around. And maybe when things are a bit louder or you just want to focus on your interview, these other lav mics work well. Would you say that's the case?
I would say that's the case. Yeah, always use a mic. Good, that's a good rule. Always have one on here. The audio from this just doesn't cut it, even if you're using just a little bit of natural sound for B-roll. Always have a mic on the camera, make sure it's on, double check everything.
Cool. Thank you, Brayton. Appreciate it. And yeah, good luck shooting.